Hello, let me just check to make sure that we then we're streaming into the group, so it's good. All right then, back to you guys. Hi Ray and Tom. I'm a bit croaky.
That's okay.
I wouldn't say far. I'll find out tomorrow if he's cleaned it.
I'll just mute you, Peter, for the minute. There you go. Yeah, so it may.
Ryan.
Good evening, Peter. How are you?
How you feeling?
Okay. Just
Good.
yeah, I'm a bit croaky, and I might have to mute a bit because because I might start coughing. I've got some water, I've got some lozenges. Yeah, we'll see how we go. Anyway, I just wanted to look at the charts. I missed out.
Okay, let's go.
Oh, let me do this first. We better get this out of the way. So welcome to this live Forex analysis session. Please note any trades discussed here are to be classed purely as educational only. And that's because we're a group of people helping each other and we are not financial advisors. So please only take trades you're happy to take based on your own analysis. And as I always have said, a demo account until you can prove to yourself that you are profitable. Always follow proper risk management to protect your account as taught in IM Academy and the Ninja Group, as each trade carries risk as well as potential profit. And it is a joy for me to understand that the whole group is now promoting 1% on a particular pair on a trade, or less than 1% now on any trade. We're looking at the reward versus risk now, which is fantastic. So if the recording of this session goes anywhere and you're not already a member, then please get back to the person who has sort of introduced you. And as an exclusive Ninja or as an exclusive member, I have access to Go Live, where there are a number of professional traders that trade this strategy and other profitable strategies. And we'll get into that in a little moment. There is a full risk disclosure and a little bit about us as live session traders. Now, let me cross off a couple of things before we start. I'm Brian Knight and I live near Melbourne, Australia, and it's just after 5:30 in the morning. And it's actually a Wednesday today for me. You might or might not have noticed, you probably don't if you're just watching the recording. I've just come off a meeting with some of the group leaders and the people that, have, well, everybody's got influence and direction in this group, and that's all cool. Some of the other people notice that this now is going to be, from now on, or from next week, I think, or wherever, it's going to be called straightforward Forex. Now, that doesn't mean it's only Forex. It can be metals, can be indices, anything. And that doesn't change what we do as far as from a banker's perspective. We may be starting to use, well, we will be using more of, which I think I've shown you already, the straightforward Forex indicator. We may sort of like not use every feature in it, but we'll see how we go. And to let you know, and I think you probably, if you've been on with Paul or anything else, they're using MT4 with what's called a demon scalper, and we'll be able to have access into that. If you don't understand what that is, I can explain it. It's just it's a trading assistant, if you want to call it like that, on an MT4. Now, I don't use MT4, so I've already got my sort of assistant on C Trader that I use, but we've got everything covered. Also, Paul is at the final stages of having what's called an exit manager. It is an EA or an expert advisor that also goes on to MT4. So if you're using MT4 to trade with, this expert advisor will actually get you out of a trade at what's called the smooth Heikin-Ashi color change. And I'll explain all of that in a moment, or some of it. Right, and let's get on to what we normally do anyway. It doesn't change any of that. We've still got candles. We're still trading. We're still looking at buys, sells, and noting if there is any consolidation in the market. Okay. You can throw any questions out you want at any time. And we are not.
They only build this stuff for MT4 and not into TradingView.
Because, well,
Anybody and everybody could have access to TradingView.
correct. Absolutely. Absolutely. The tradition, though, is, and what Tom Watts people have done in the past is, it's probably what would be called the industry standard, that MT4, even though it's a dinosaur, and I don't tend to use it that much. I do. But it is something to consider, that if you had it, it'd probably be an advantage to have what's called a VPS, a virtual private server, so that it actually runs, your program will run, or the MT4 will run 24/7 in the background, and off your computer. It'll be out in the web somewhere, like a cloud, in the cloud. Why not? I think it's an amount of programming. I'm not saying that we won't have that option, Tom. What I am saying is the complexity of the programming for who we currently have, Kevin, amazing Kevin, who's made changes to the current sort of indicator we're using on TradingView. I'm not sure if he wants to go into the realm of being able to create programs that may look at that. We can pose the question, Tom. I don't know the answer at the moment, to be perfectly honest. All I'm saying is there's an amount of difficulty that may have an issue to overcome. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
All right, no problems, Tom.
I also think that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go, Rio.
No, I was just going to say, I also think one of the other reasons is that TradingView is not widely supported by brokers.
Correct. It is by a dodgy Owanda, but sorry, it's by Owanda as a.
No, you had it right the first time.
Yeah, that's right, Tom. But it's interesting because one of the brokers that I use is supported in an Australian broker is actually supported on TradingView, but I'm not using TradingView to trade through it. I use a downloadable CTrader version, which is an open source trading platform. And look, there are so many things also, Tom, so many different. So you have CTrader, you have web-based ones, you have MT4, you have MT5, you have TradingView, and you have lots of other ones as well. The group, I don't think, can try and cover all of those. If there is a generic, it would be MT4 at this point. And look, I'll talk about CTrader later and what some of those features may be. But and if there is things that we can do, then individual people may actually pay for a trade manager if it works out on whatever their trading platform is. So you just have to find an expert in that field that will actually program it. Right. So, can you tell me what the hell happened at
CPI?
Sorry?
CPI.
Is that code for what?
Consumer Price Index.
Oh, CPI. Yeah.
Yes.
So the CPI in the US went crazy, did it?
It threw everything.
Better than they thought.
Yeah, because when I got up this morning, I just went like, what the hell happened there? There was no way of predicting that at all. And look, that's a much bigger move. Like, I know this is on the 1 minute. Let me, but like from the low there to the high up there, that's 131 pips. And that happened very quickly over.
The half
Well,
said
it's still
that
running.
gold- The half said that gold moved probably that at least in 2 seconds.
Yeah,
Probably less. It was probably milliseconds actually, but you didn't record it that quick.
yeah. And it's interesting down here. Like, I went down and had a look at the NAS 100 and the drop off, it was like a cliff. Kaboom, down it just went. And if you go to Bitcoin, it's because I looked at it. Hang on a minute. Sorry, I'll get it. This is back to Rian's sort of, whoop, there. Look at the
Called
drop.
market manipulation.
Yeah, absolutely it is. Look at it. Kaboom.
Good job I was out there this afternoon.
But I'm not concerned about this, right? Because what this tells me, it's going to do what?
Pull back.
Yeah, it's going to have to. Well, if you look at the NAS over, hang on. I'm sorry, people. I apologize if I'm coughing today.
I'm
But if you-
learning trading.
Sorry.
Still better than the other day.
You sound good.
Yeah, I'm a bit. And well, I don't have a foggy head anyway. At least that's a plus. So, the NAS was going up and up and up. We've had this for a little while, pulling back down again. It still hasn't broken structure. This is on the 1 hour. I mean, that's the NAS. But this drop is just dramatic. Look, see the drop there, then a drop there, then that drop there. So it's not to say it doesn't do it. If we come back to CAD, and this is the thing I was talking about, you can see, as I said, there's a couple of things I want to point out with this straightforward Forex, and as far as the indicator and a few things, I still feel that the fundamental things to take into account are absolutely trend. I mean, you might be taking a trade on a lower time frame, but you still need to take into account the trend, and whether it's in consolidation or not. But, like, that's just for me, those things don't change if we're looking at anything different. Anyway, CAD did push up, pull back down, push up, pull back down, push up. This push up at the moment is going to have a pull back down again. If we look at the 1 hour, you can see where multi-time frames are sitting, coming back. There is this consolidation on the 1 hour that's occurring now over a period of time. So this is not an opportunity for a trade on the 1 hour, but it's definitely a trade opportunity on a 1 minute or 2 minute. Like, there isn't an issue from that point of view. So we need to look at how this works for us. So if I come back to 1 minute and we order that and we come off there, need to come back here. And if I we put back on this market, where is it? Market sessions. I just want to go over it and show you again. It came out of New York, right? It was actually pretty flat yesterday. Day before. I mean, just depends on where you are in the world, but it did this push up in the Sydney Asian session. It was pretty flat across all of that. And if you want, when it came into this Sydney and Asian, that was, just there. That's when Tokyo opened. It came back, pushed up past, but it kept going down, right? All the way to when, I know it's lower, thanks. All the way until New York came in. See, just after New York, and then it did that. That was when the news came in. So if you were already in a sell there, and I would have been out of it anyway, but look, okay, we'll look at this. There's the possibility here of a trade, and I'll put this
Right.
on to start with. So if you've got a short, it comes out, pulls back up. Now that's not broken structure. So if it breaks structure and comes back up again, you could have got into that trade. Now the issue, cancel it. The issue is that if you're going to put a 5 pip on that, you probably would have been stopped out here. Yeah. Yes, I know you're doing that.
Yeah.
Because with spread, with a 2 pip spread, that would have knocked you out. If you did get knocked out, there's another option here to get in. So that would have, it depends. If you stayed in and you didn't do anything, right? Here's the scenario, though. If you're going to use, I don't tend to use too many exit managers, but if we look at this and go, I'll just put something on here just so that you can, and where I'm talking about getting in, right? Somewhere where it's come back up here and you get in as it started to come down. So I'll get rid of that off. If I now put on this, it's now called straightforward Forex, the indicator. You can see this color change for down here. Pull back up. You could either get in it there or you could wait to get in there. And you still have a degree of, how do I put this? Okay, let's do this. You would probably be able to get in earlier. So if I now put a short on here, so you see the color change. So it does that. You see it pull back up and you see this have a color change down. Now you could sit here for 10, 15 minutes or whatever. And let's imagine you say like, oh, I'm going to get in here somewhere. It pulls down, it pulls back up, and they go like, oh no, it's come back down. It crosses over the 200. I'm going to get in. I'm going to do a 5. Oh, I had it as 5. Yeah, 5 pip stop loss, 5.1. When it comes down here, you have 3%. Okay. When it comes back up here, and I think it was just there, that's a color change. You got 2% in that trade. Right? When this comes back up here, you would be out of the trade anyway with a 2% 5 pip stop loss. You could at this point change that to 3 because I would go to the top of, either there or back here. See the pull when it dropped, pull back up, then it dropped off. You would go to the top. Sorry,
Brian.
Yep.
Sorry. Are you unclicked that the bull?
Yeah, I have. Do you want to put that on? Do you?
No, I'm just asking. What's your reason for taking it off?
Because I'm working on candles and market structure, and I'm seeing what's there, whether it's a bull or
Watching the candles and that. Okay.
Correct. Let me show you. And I think your question
Just
is
using them for the stop loss, really.
Yeah, I think exactly. And I think you can work that out anyway. And you can put a full, and you can do all of this stuff. Engulfing, and you can put all these things on. All right.
Right. I'm confused now.
And now, can you see what I'm saying?
You need more indicators.
It's only the one indicator. Just you mean it needs more labels. The issue for me is when you put everything on, it is too busy.
Enough mess it up. Yeah, definitely.
And all I'm looking for is, and what I suppose there's an element of this, Alistair, is that I think that I take the impression that you all have the ability to see what's on the chart, right? You all need to learn what a bear bull engulfing candle is anyway, right? That stuff is, I know this is for people that may not know, but in the end, I think that this is more confusing with too many things. So I don't know. This is how I work, and I don't want an up zone or a down zone because all I need is a color change. I want to make this as simple as I can. I could, I mean, this is the other thing. I could even put a table on down here that tells me, I don't know if anybody's seen that. Step 1, up and down zone. Look, I don't really, then color change and demon scalp, and then look at the bull and then exit. Like, that's okay. All of this stuff.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Could you then put your stop on that engulfing candle? Is that, I can't quite see a chart.
Hang on, coming back. Which in
Is
this
there an
engulfing candle there?
Yeah.
Absolutely, I could. It depends on where my entry is. All I'm saying is what I see. This is 3 pips coming off the high, the previous high from the downtrend. Okay. Previous high from the downtrend. Ultimately, I want a longer trade though. Everyone needs to understand that's where I'm at. You know, like I want to be in a trade for a longer period of time and not in and out sort of thing. But, you know, like who's going to argue about having 3.5% and then walking away? Right. So we'll talk about it. No, nobody's going to do that. It just means that does this suit your lifestyle is really the point to it. Now, if I'm around and we can set this color change, you can set an indicator. If I want to, I can set an indicator on the session high, low. There's a whole lot of things here. Yeah. Oh, that's got. Yeah. Anyway, we'll have to work out what some of these are, but you can do a color change basically as alert if you want to, and you can get lots of them. So, or an up or down or whatever. The reason why I put the stop loss there is because it's at the peak of this push back up before it started to come down. I got an engulfing candle. It pulled back up. I'm not going to get into the trade on a buy candle anyway. I'm only going to get into the trade on a sell. So it gets a sell candle. And then you got to remember these are all 1 minute. So I'm giving you the scenario where I would get in. I wouldn't get into that first one probably, and then when it starts the second one, I go like beauty. I'll get in on that candle because I've still got these smooth Iconashis are red. They're now red and green instead of purple and white. So don't worry, it's just the way it's set. You can change the colors if you want to. I'm just leaving it stock. Well, stock standard and taking a few things off. So if you get in the trade there, you could quite easily pull this down to the top of that engulfing candle and have a 1.9. What's the problem with that?
Well, the problem for me with that is you're at 0.7 on your spread.
Yeah.
I'm at 3 points.
Yeah.
I'm at 3% on my spread.
Yeah. Correct.
So my stop loss has to start at 10.
At 10. Because it's 3 pip spread.
Yeah, because if this thing pops back up.
Oh, right. I've got you.
Slightly.
Yeah.
Just slightly, it's gonna spike me out.
Which it did over here anyway.
I can't get that, that quick little trade because my spread is just ridiculous.
It's too high. Yeah. It's a bit like trading Bitcoin. It's like, you got 120 pip spread. It's like, yeah, okay.
Right.
I think
I would have to go I would have to go to that previous
High.
high right there.
Yeah, up over here.
Why is it so high? Because of time or what?
No.
It's Owanda. It
Oh my
down just a
God.
little bit, Brian, where it says
Oh, up over here.
something Tokyo.
Yeah, it's the session. Yeah. Like you
Yeah.
got nine
That's
pips
where I
there.
would. That's where I would have to put my trade where it says
Yeah.
Sydney Tokyo.
Is there
Oh,
not a
down
fixed
here.
time?
Yeah,
Oh, right.
Right
Oh, that's
there.
okay. That's only 5 pips.
that's still 5,
Yeah. It's not 10.
and
I was
I'm
gonna.
counting on it, not
Yeah.
bouncing up.
Yeah.
2
But
pips.
the point is, when it did come up here, it would stop you out because
Exactly.
it's come back to break even and then back out again.
But
Yeah.
why are you
okay.
going to let it run till then? Because it's changed color and
No. I suppose Tom's saying he's planning, forecasting to be in the trade for a longer period of time and having a larger percentage of profit.
go and change it to 5 minutes. And see
Yeah,
what it looks
I
like.
understand where it's coming from.
Yeah. So, sorry, Tom, have I put words in your mouth or?
No, I'm just saying I'm just saying that I can't do that.
Yeah.
2 pip stop loss or
Yeah,
3
yeah.
pip stop loss.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work for me because of the spread.
Well, 1.9 won't work for me. Right.
Yeah, so I'd have to go like 5 or 6, 7 maybe.
Yeah. So for me, 3 will work. Because if I've got half on that for spread, it would be fine. All right. So I'm giving you because and it's probably sometimes next week you're going to get your hands on this.
Great.
Right.
You're good.
You're the first to say that. Oh dear.
Well, and we're all moving to a new group. And you have to do a screenshot of your current membership in IM to get approved for this indicator. That's just the way this is going to work. And the exit manager. And, there's all this other stuff. So there'll be a password for the exit manager that Paul has paid for. He actually has shelled out.
O'Brien.
Yeah.
Because we're based in Britain, I think you've got to swear allegiance to the new king.
Yeah. And any of his offspring.
That's okay with you.
It's fine by me. I mean, we don't have to here, so it's all okay. I think, what is it? Our Prime Minister has said, because, there's been for many years rumblings of becoming a republic. We'd still be part of Commonwealth, but we'd be a republic. But the Prime Minister the other day here said, because they're only just into the 100 days or whatever into their after being elected, a new government said that in the first term they're not going to have a referendum of becoming a republic, which opened the doors and said, oh, in the second term then. So it'll be sometime after 3 years. Anyway, beside the point, I don't think the market will go crazy if we become a republic, but anyway. So I just want to come back to this point. If you did get the opportunity, you could see push down, little pull up, and like this is for me. After the market opened in Sydney, I'm actually seeing some opportunities come up on a regular basis, whether it's buys or sells, right? Sorry. But there is a good 3%, or for Tom, it would be like a 2%. Again, and that's at a color change. So when it comes back, if you actually traded it and you were with it and you saw it pull back up engulfing, you got out there, you'd still be 2.8. Or if you went there, you'd still be like 4.5%, nearly 5. On one trade, over how long? That would be getting the trade. It'd be over 30 minutes, like half an hour only. The half an hour for 3 or 4 or 5%, I think it's pretty good, to be honest. But if you're relying on an indicator to get you out, which should be about there, about 4% or 3 or whatever it is, Tom, talking about different stop losses. Now, if you did stay in that and you didn't use, you were not there to exit, or you didn't exit it, it would come back here and basically it would stop you out. With that and probably spread, with that spike up and a bit of spread, you'd be stopped out, all right? So you could lose one, whatever percent. Oh, sorry, there you'd be stopped out. That's what I was trying to say.
Definitely there.
Yeah, definitely there, right? Now, if you did, what I'd be looking at is I'd be looking at getting back in after it pushed down, patience. So you get stopped out, it pushes down, comes back here. We're still seeing a downtrend, right? You see that little green up? You're still seeing a downtrend. You get back in the trade somewhere here. Now, you see it push back down. It has a green candle. I'm not getting in, right? It doesn't. It has a color change here. You probably, again, I would not get in necessarily until it came back up here, but it could stop you out over here as well. Yeah. So this could be a number of, again, like I said the other day, the reason for me, I would look though at this and I'd get into the trade at this point here as it's coming back down. I know it's got a color change there and I'm against this. So probably what you really should be doing is only getting in the trade when it's come back to there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And if you did, you'd probably be stopped out because push down, pull back up, get into the trade, probably somewhere here. If you have a 5 pip or you came to, you know, the top of that engulfing candle, when it came down there, you'd have 1.8, you know, not really a trade that I'm really that interested in. When it color changed there.
Really, because if you look at it, you're assuming that's going to go down with that big bull red candle.
Yeah.
So, no, the one next to it, where your target is.
Oh, there, yeah.
Yeah. So you're not getting in on that candle because you don't know if it's still pulling up.
Correct.
So by the time that big candle hits, you get that little indecision candle.
Yeah, yeah.
You're in on the next candle.
Yeah, yeah. Correct. You're right there. That's what I'm just saying. This is not a trade that's worth it. But you wouldn't know. Okay. So again, this is I'm going to put this in really simple terms. You're going to have to lose a few to get a few, right? That's just how this is going to work. I mean, we've talked about that before, and I've spoken about losing 1% to then gain the larger percentages, right? So that's
right. I'm just saying, realistically, that's more of an entry.
correct. No, Tom, I totally agree with you. You're spot on, mate. Point it out, please. Right. Then here, this is like another possibility here. So pushes up, back. You get that color change there. It pushed back up. And then you'd be looking at getting in as it comes down here, probably on that second one just there. Yeah. So again, I'll just move this so that we've got it. Where is it? 1, 2, somewhere there.
And it pushes back up.
Yeah, hang on. Yeah, you're right. Now the point though is, if you did get in this trade, that's like a 3. It comes back when the color changes. You'd have a 2% on it with a 5, right? Now, when it does come back up, it comes to here, which would threaten your stop loss again, without a doubt, right? If you did it again here, this would threaten your stop loss again. If you did it here, this would threaten your stop loss again. I'm going through a scenario. Just take it easy, everyone. then you got consolidation. If you got in again, it was threatening. You got in again, it was threatening. Okay?
If you're going to go color change for exit, then it's not surely.
Correct. But I don't want to necessarily do that, right?
No, because
Let-
it's quite small returns than what you've shown a minute ago.
Correct. Okay. So, and you've got to be there. If I now go to the high, I'll put a 9 pip on, and I now travel all the way down to pre the session, maybe let it come back up a bit because I was seeing it before London Open. That's a 5%. And there isn't any way that I'm going to be stopped out. And this is what I back tested earlier this morning, actually, before. So I was looking at it going, oh my God, look how many times that jumped back up. If I had only 5 pips or I went off that engulfing. So for me, the lesson in this is I have a session. I'm trading a session, which I think I've said a lot of this to you before. I'm trading a session, right? This is still market structure. This is still bankers, right? We have a high here. It comes down to a low. Like this has there. I'll just turn this off for the minute. That is equal to a broken, well, it's broken structure there, and then it's come back up and it's gone back down. Why wouldn't you enter there? Because you've gone into a new session. It's done the push up. Now it's pulling back down. All it is looking, well, what has the market done? Pushed down, pushed up. What's it going to do? Pull down. You may close the trade here or have your profit here because it's matching up there. It's up to you. It doesn't really matter. But you could also continue the trade as you see it go further if you want. But this is the bottom. This is where the session changes here. Or it changes there, sorry. So just pre that session. You could get out of the trade there. Or you could have your TP there. That's still nearly 5% with a 9 pip stop loss. There is no way that's challenged at any time, even with O under. Even if with O under. So this is more of a session trading with using a swing high back down to a swing low. Does that work for anyone?
Yeah, so you're not in and out, in and out.
Correct.
How long is that? Time?
I'll measure it for you. Just a second. So if you get in there and you got out over here somewhere, it's 8 hours, 9 hours. And like quite easily, I could be in that trade for 8 or 9 and be comfortable with it. It's not a problem. I'm within one session. It's my wake time. That's for me. Now let's look, if we change this and we go, okay, let's now go and look at a bit hard in the London session. It pulled down there, then before London, I know that it's going to change direction normally. It could continue, but normally it will change direction. When it goes from London to New York, it will normally either continue or change the direction as well. And that's exactly what it did. The problem here is this was a painful lot of consolidation in this CAD. And this should have been a warning to you of something's going to happen. Yeah.
Mhm.
And if you're in this for a sell, for a sell, you needed to have a stop loss, and hopefully you did. So if we come across here and you go, okay, that's all I see, and it's broken, it's come down out, it's broken the structure, pull back, and now it's going down, and you say, oh, I'm getting into a sell. The problem is it did this spike and off it went. So you would lose 1% here because it would spike back up again, right?
What's funny is I had my sell set up. All I was waiting for was a little pullback right there,
Yeah.
and then for a further push down. And
Yeah.
I literally walked into my kitchen, and I had Richard Costello on my wireless headset, and I could hear him going, "Oh look, it just passed the 50. Oh look, it's past the 200. Oh look, it's still going." And I'm like, "What the heck?" By the time I got back out here, it was just
Yeah. Well, it just broke past the 800 and just pushed everything up. My only thing is to say to you is after it does that, what's it got to do?
Push back down.
It's got to come back down. So you got to find the swing high. It broke structure here. When it broke it there and pull back, you probably wouldn't get it till then. And if you do, that wouldn't have been a bad trade there. And for people in UK, if you lose 1% there, then this for a sellout from here somewhere, if you put in you could actually probably put in a 5 pip there, but you wouldn't have known. But if you do and you get knocked out, you could get back in. But if you're still in that trade now, that's still worth 7%. And I think that's got further to go down. But I think what will happen is, oh, that's not what I need. Sorry. This is what I need. What I think will happen is you can see that 1 hour is coming down. And the cycle of that is, I think we're going to go further down. So I think and also the 4 hour is pulling back down too. So, but the lower time frames are pulling up that little bit. So I'm just going to look and see what happens when it comes over into the Sydney, like it was over, but you can see overbought it getting to be oversold. So when it comes into that Sydney Asian, I'm going to wait till around about 9 a.m. my time is when Tokyo opens, and I'm going to look at what it does, the structure of it at that point to get in either for a sell further or for a buy or wait a bit. We'll just see. Because after a push up and this pull back down, depends on where the swing low is, this as an uptrend will probably pull back up again. So I may look at a short, or it may come down only to here and then start going up. So I'll get into the buy for that Sydney Tokyo session up towards London Open. We'll see. That's just the way I'm looking at it. But I'm not going to make a commitment until I see the structure of the market. That actually would have been a good trade that way. And when you're looking on the 1 minute for the day, there is no way you could pick that, but you certainly could pick that and certainly could pick that. They're both sells and against the trend though, which means they probably would have been less likely to break this low or this low, but it did.
twice.
Yeah, twice. Yeah, there and there. Yeah. So that's why I probably would have been out of the trade back here somewhere, or even there, because I wouldn't have thought it would have broken that there. But yeah, there's a definite trade possibility with this coming up again. So if I go now and we just go, let's go 3 minutes, which will give me a couple of days. See where it's pushed down, back up, push down, back up, push down. We're in an uptrend. So what's it likely to do? This here hasn't broken these. So it's likely to pull down, not break these, and likely to push back up again and break this. And we've got the sort of I call it the guts of the trading week. We're now in the middle of the guts, the 3 middle days of the trading week, where there is I feel is the best possibility of trading. Not to say if you want to scalp, you can do it outside of these days, but to have a banker's move, probably in these 3 middle days. Yeah. So if we now go back to 1 minute, I'll just put that. We pull it across here. We go and look at your AUD. Look at that crazy move there. And again, your AUD is sell, but it's against that at the moment because of the cycle. The 4-hour cycle's pulling up. But eventually it will run out of steam and start coming back down, which it's getting close to doing now. Not on the 4-hour, but it is on the 1 hour and 30 minute. So when it goes into this Sydney, Tokyo, I'm going to look for potentially a sell out of there. Let's go to Euro GBP. Normally a buy trending, right? But it did this ridiculous sideways. There was that crazy move in there. This could have been a possibility when you see the 30-minute pull, down at the bottom. That could have been a possibility, but I was nowhere near this trade other than watching it. NCAD, sell, 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 crazy sell, right? Look at that drop. Now you would not have been able to get that, right? You wouldn't be able to forecast that. Price was just doing this, came back to near its previous high, and then it just dropped off. Now, this 4-hour now is getting down, and the 1 hour and the 30 are down the bottom after this drop and this sort of push across. What are we looking for?
Come back.
Yeah, potentially a buy. I need to see the market structure of it. It has broken there. So it's broken structure. You can see it's broken structure from here. But I want to make sure, I want to see whether this lower time frame pulls back. And we'll see that in the Sydney Tokyo session. USD CHF. What is that? You can see flat in this Sydney Asian, did this crazy, and it flattened out again. This is not something I would have traded because I wouldn't have been able to see any structure. Now, this is on the 4-hour pulling up. The 1 hour, though, and 30 is sitting up the top. I think after that push up, there's a few of them that we need to get a push back down, but it's not going to break this lower time frame, lower structure here. I don't think it will. So if you're going to target, I'll be targeting down here somewhere or within this range. And isn't it interesting? See these dashed lines? These are lines that I've put on from before, and look at it. It comes down to that, pushed up to that, and it's now sitting around that line. What's it going to potentially do? Come back down near this line, probably. We'll see. What did UJ do? Yeah, just look at it. And then kept pushing up.
Ridiculousness.
Yeah, well, it's up at 144 now. The only thing about CAD is it has pulled back down. Right, where NJ hasn't. So that's what I'm sort of saying here. If we look, I can see this maybe not pulling down very much and then going back up because of what UJ's done. But I'm going to wait, probably a buy in the Sydney Tokyo session. We'll see, but I don't know yet. I'm just going to wait and see. But if I could maybe put a 10 pip stop loss and get 5 out of it, same sort of thing as what happened by yesterday, then happy days. We'll see. We'll see. But what I'm finding is if I want to use the straightforward Forex indicator and grab like on a color change, I can put a tight stop loss, but I got to be there to be able to get out of the trade, or I got to close the trade at color change. That's just what I'm experiencing currently. Okay. So, yeah, so Paul was saying that he's gone back and forth with the developer for the exit manager for the straightforward Forex on MT4. He was waiting. He probably won't be until UK tomorrow time before he'll get the updated because of a few little bugs.
So
He was trialing.
Is he changing the ninjas to straightforward Forex? Is that what you're
Correct.
saying?
Correct. We're all going to
Yeah.
move over to a new Facebook group,
Yep.
which is fine. It's just going into another group. We'll still stream into a group, and it'll just be a name change. That's really all it is, in a new location.
So is this group closing?
No, not that I understand.
Okay.
The issue, Tom, is there are people in this group, which is not a problem, that are not financial members of IM Academy and who feel that they may be entitled to having this new indicator that's taken a lot to develop. And yeah, so I think it's the change is required to have the people that are financial across into a new group. That's the way to do it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so we'll just see. You'll all be notified, but that's what I had heard or have been party to the conversation. We'll just see when it actually happens. But I think it'll be pretty easy to do. Create a new group, get people, just do a screenshot, bang, Tim, you got everything's all cool.
Brian,
and
are
then-
you going to be in both groups there?
Well, I won't be streaming into the Ninja group then. I'd be streaming into the straightforward Forex, even though the main focus of the group will just be using the indicator as a scalping mechanism or a scalping strategy. But apparently all of you have spoken up for me and said, no, keep Brian. It's okay. Just keep him. So I'm allowed to keep doing bankers with and
Brian,
using.
there was placards.
Sure. I'm not.
Pretty funny. It was pretty funny hearing Paul say, should we keep somebody? and everybody was like, Brian Knight, Brian Knight, Brian Knight,
Yeah.
Brian Knight. It's like, wow, okay.
I wasn't there, so
It was a
thank you very
sympathy
much.
vote. It was a sympathy vote. That's fair.
Yeah. So that's all cool. What will happen though over the next month, there'll probably be some time changes, whether I'll be earlier or later in the evening UK time, or earlier or later in the US time, purely because of UK and US at different times coming off their daylight savings times, and me going on daylight savings time. So there'll be a couple of weeks of maybe weird time. We'll just see how we go. And then it'll be like a 6 months of a certain time. But maybe in the UK, I think we go earlier. I think I would be, instead of 8 p.m, it'll probably be 7 or something like that. We'll see how we go. Because I still will get up at the same time. It'll just make
Yeah,
it.
your clock's going to change. It'll be all right. Yeah.
Yeah, your clock will change and my time will change. But for me, one of the things that I use is this. I'll show you. I use a thing called Savvy Time. It's just a page on the web, so SAVVY time. So when times change, this just automatically changes. So I know that 6 a.m. 6:30 now, which means in London it's 9:30. I know that Los Angeles is 1:30, and I know that it's 4:30 in New York. In Europe's 10:30. In Canada is the same as that, and then Dubai is like midnight. So, or 12, half, 12:30 midnight. So I can tell at a glance what times there are around the world compared to my time. So when Paul's on at like 8:30, it's 5:30 for me in the afternoon. But that'll change. Oh yeah, I think you might hear first too. I think there's some time changes occurring for the live sessions UK as well. There's still some 1 o'clock ones, but I think there's going to be some 7 a.m. because of voting. I think you're going to get some 7 a.m. sessions, so we'll see.
We used to make a phone call. Peter will know this. Used to make a phone call to the speaking clock.
Yeah, to find out what time it was. Yeah.
Used to do it when the clocks changed. It was great fun.
That was the only time it was ever used. All right, then. We're up for an hour, and thanks for putting up with my croaky voice and every so often coughing.
Glad you're feeling better.
Yeah. No, it's just a cold. It's just I've worked out how I achieved to get it. Did you want to know?
Did it involve? No, can't see live.
No, it involves sharing a drink with my grandson. It's basically he's only 2 and he doesn't know, he still backwashes. So, and when he had a runny icky nose, and I had to share a drink, pa, share.
Oh sure, blame the child.
Could you not bluff the child?
No, you can't. He's 2. You can't bluff him. And his favourite word is just why. Pa, why, pa, why? I've got to do this, but why? It's like, yeah, mate, geez, there's no answer to this one. Anyway, until tomorrow, hopefully same time, same channel. See how we go. If you get anything going in, just whack a bit into the chat group. I'll be looking at for some buys or sells today, but hopefully showing you the like the spread, and also Tom with like Oanda. We may need to, with these longer term, if you're going to be in a trade for a session, that you need to look at some larger spreads in it because of spreads and that. Sorry, larger stop losses because of spread. All right then. Until next time. Ciao. See ya.